Welcome to this edition of the Coach's Corner. Today we are focusing on the BYU women's rugby team, and they compete in the elite CRAA Division 1. They've enjoyed so much national success, and they are part of Brigham Young University, which is located in Provo, Utah. It's often referred to as BYU. It's known for its strong academic programs and its values-based campus environment. They've got 36,000 or more students and offer a wide range of studies with particularly strong programs in business, engineering, education, and the sciences. Within the women's rugby team, they've had national championship final experience. Their head coach is with us today, and he is Jared Whippy. And so, welcome, Coach Whippy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Melanie.
Oh, I'm delighted to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found yourself at BYU.
Yeah, so a bit about myself. I grew up in Fiji, born and raised in Suva, Fiji. Um, I did my high school in New Zealand. When we were about 14, we went to New Zealand, me and my family, and then we lived there for a couple of years. I'm a twin. Me and my brother, we attended dorm school, boarding school there in New Zealand, and then before we finished our high school in New Zealand, we got to meet the coach, the BYU rugby coach. They wanted some rugby players, to come to BYU Provo, and so me and my brother said, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it." And then right after high school, we came up here, did a year at BYU Provo, played rugby here, and then we went on a mission. A church, obviously we're Mormon. We did a 2-year mission. We served in the Marshall Islands in the Kiribati mission. It's a little atoll in the middle of the Pacific there, and then came back in 2014, and then we finished up our rugby career and did our schooling at BYU, and now, yeah, we're married now. We live in Utah. Utah's home. I got 3 girls, or 2 girls, sorry. My wife is from California, and we live about 20 minutes from Provo in Saratoga Springs. But yeah, that's pretty much me.
How long have you been coaching at BYU?
Yeah, so I got done playing after rugby. They started here after playing at BYU. They started the professional league here in America, the MLR. Played for Utah. The Utah had a team. Played there for a couple of years, and then we played in Seattle for a year. And then right after that, I saw the head coaching position open up at BYU in 2022, right before Christmas. And then yes, I've been the coach since got hired on November 2022.
Right?
So almost 4 years.
Wow. And it sounds like when you left Fiji, when you were a youngster, you started on a great world tour.
Yep. Who would have known? Yep.
Absolutely. So BYU is affiliated with the Church of the Latter-day Saints, or LDS. Do you have to be Mormon to go to BYU?
No, you don't have to be Mormon. You can be, yeah, no matter what religion you are, anyone can apply to go to BYU.
Okay. So
Um,
tell me about the rugby program, the women's rugby program.
yeah, so the Rubens Rugby program, it's been there for a couple of years now. I think at least over 20 years. Um, Within the program, man, what do you want to know? There's so much I can say. We play in the NCR in the fall, and we joined the NCR, the National Collegiate Rugby League, in the fall last year, 2025, and then we play in the CRAA in the spring semester.
Do you play for
Um,
both?
we play for both. We play in both. What is it? Not divisions, both leagues.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
and and we primarily play 15s. We do not play sevens.
Okay. And how many women do you tend to have on your roster?
Yeah, on our roster, we allowed 40 players on the roster, but I usually take about between 33 to 35 players.
Okay. And when you play, how who do you play against and how far do you have to travel?
Yeah, it all depends. Before we joined the NCR, we were in the CRA Elite Division. So we play a home and away with Lindenwood, Life, Central Washington. But last fall, the furthest we've traveled was Penn State. We played Penn State last year, in Pennsylvania, which was awesome. That's the furthest we probably traveled.
That's pretty
Um,
far.
Yep, pretty far. So they're in the same boat as us. They play in the NCR and then they play in the CRAA as well. And so they'll be coming up to us in March.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
so, yeah, the furthest we play probably Penn State. Yep, Penn State it is.
Great. That's my neck of the woods. I'm
Okay,
a couple
nice.
hours away from Penn State.
Okay, awesome. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. So, with your younger players, do they have a chance at getting playing time, or is that really more of a developmental time?
With no, if for me, if you're good enough, you're old enough. There's no I don't favor anyone. If you're good enough to play, you'll play. Whether you've been here 1 year, 5 years, whatever the case may be. Um, yeah, that's kind of motto I have is even though you're a young player, if you show good effort, if you show up in practice, work hard, you'll play.
Okay. And do
Yeah.
you have international players on the team?
As of right now, Canadians internationals. So we have about two Canadian girls, I think it is, but right now, no one from the South Pacific or Australia, New Zealand, England, not right now.
Okay. And what does a typical week look like for your players with classes and training and game time? How does that pan out?
Yeah. So during the fall semester, we train 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 to 7 in the evenings. And then Monday, Wednesday, they have a lifting. We have a strength and conditioning coach where they lift. It's usually during the day, but from 2 o'clock to 3 p.m. On Monday, twice a week. And then we play games on Saturdays. And so we usually travel the day before Friday around noonish. We try to hopefully book our flights then. And so, yeah, so really 3 times a week, we practice 2 hours, and then they have their own lifting twice a week as well, which is an hour, and obviously game.
And you mentioned flying on Friday or traveling on Friday. What happens if you have class on Friday?
Yeah, great question. So when the semester starts, I we send out this like a note that all the players give to their teachers, and just say, hey, these are the dates you will be gone. Just tell them in advance, and the professors at BYU are awesome. They'll work with you, just as long as you give them time. And so, yeah, the professor should know way in advance about your travel schedule, and then they're usually good about if you miss class or you got to make up an assignment, whatever the case may be, they'll work with you.
And sports are a big deal at BYU, so this wouldn't be the first time that they've had somebody miss a class for a game.
Exactly, exactly. Yep, yep.
Sure. What do you think makes your team special or unique?
What makes us special and unique? Man, I think we get what makes us special is the girls on the team, just they they're all from different parts of America. You get a lot of girls from Idaho, from the East Coast, or from Utah, and what makes them unique is just they because they're BYU, we can't offer scholarships. They're not there for rugby. They're there for education, right? They want to get a good education, and rugby's kind of sickened. And so I think in that aspect, it makes it unique, where people from different backgrounds, most of them didn't grow up playing rugby. And so when they come to BYU and they find this group of girls where they can, oh, now rugby is our love, we love it. And then they can bond over that and they can share experiences and meet people that they'll never would have even met if it wasn't for rugby. So I think just the difference in backgrounds that we shared BYU, I think that what makes us unique.
I think it's pretty amazing that if you have a lot of girls that don't have much of a rugby background, that you've done so incredibly well over the years. It is pretty unique too.
Yeah, no, I try to do my best, especially with the new girls, just be patient. But yeah, these girls are so awesome to coach. They're very teachable, coachable. They all come from great families. There's no egos. And so they're just really there just to learn and just be a part of the team, which is awesome. It makes my job easy.
Great. So you mentioned that there are no rugby scholarships, but BYU is known for having very reasonable tuition for both members of the LDS Church as well as those who aren't. But in addition to that, there are academic scholarships available. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. So if you remember, obviously, Your tuition is subsidized. It's for private education. It's very cheap compared to what other universities are paying. And especially, and if you're not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, obviously it's a lot cheaper as well compared to others. But yeah, so at BYU, there's a lot of academic scholarships. They used to have the multicultural scholarship, which was awesome as well. And yeah, there's so much grants you can get into there. And then a thing at BYU too is the cost of living is so cheap compared to other states. Housing is cheaper, and most of the girls on our team they have jobs as well. So they work like 20 hours a week, and then it's easy to get a job on campus, and
So
so
they're
that's how they.
busy. If they're working 20 hours a week, they're in school full
Yeah,
time and they're playing high level rugby. That's really impressive.
no, yeah, kudos to them. They got a big plate on top of them, and so it's they work really hard. They're good at time management. There's a lot on their plate, but they juggle it pretty good.
I would say so. Um, I know that there's also a men's rugby team at BYU. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think most teams, most people looking from the outside in, they know BYU men's rugby a lot more than the women's, just because of the success BYU men's rugby has had over the past years, where they've won multiple national championships. When you talk about rugby in the collegiate level, BYU is part of that conversation. So I think just the history of that, the coach by Steve St. Pierre, he was a former player at BYU, good coach. And then yeah, his assistants also played at BYU, which I know pretty well. And yeah, their program's been strong for the last couple of years as well.
I think it really speaks volumes when you have coaches at the university who attended the university. So
Yep.
it says that there's a strong culture and a lot of loyalty there.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's so true. And yeah, if you played rugby at BYU, like for myself, I just want to give back. And then yeah, if you see a lot of players come back, want to help out. And so it's really awesome to see.
That's great. I know that in the LDS faith, missions and going on missions is a big deal. And for that, people would go away for a period of time. Do you see that happening on the women's rugby team, or does that usually happen after women graduate from university? So if they go on a mission, can they come back and play again?
Yeah, for sure. So mission is a big part of the LDS church. Our church leaders encourage it. Um, and it was I didn't know this till my surprise, but when I was coach, now I'm coaching. We get actually a lot of girls that go on missions. A lot. Yeah. So we had about just this past semester, I think we had like four girls leave to go on the missions. Four, maybe five. Yeah, and all over the world. And so the girls, the women on the team, they really want to go serve a mission. And it's awesome to see. They come back better people, more mature. And so yeah, so it's part of being a Mormon or being part of the LDS faith. But with rugby, they do allow you to come back and play. So you have 7 years to play five. And so yeah, so they go serve a mission. They usually most kids go do their freshman year and then go on a mission.
And then they come back and finish up.
Yep, come back and finish up. Then they have about 3 years left to play. Usually when they come back, you don't come back in the best of shape, just because you're not training, you're not doing anything. So it takes about a year or so to get that running, that fitness back into it. But yeah, most of them come back straight to the team.
Okay. And one last question for you. I would imagine that most people watching this have never been to Provo, Utah. Can you tell us a little bit about what Provo is like and how you get there? Are there direct flights? Does it have international flights? What do people need to know?
Yeah, so Provo is about 45 minutes from Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City Airport that's the biggest airport here in Utah. But there's also a little airport here in Provo, just Provo Airport. Um, and then I don't know if you know, Air Legion flies there pretty regularly. There's breeze that open up, so you can go in through there from all over the world, all over the country. Sorry, domestic flights. But how would I explain Provo? Man, Provo is awesome. It's just like just how would you think of a normal college town? But the beauty about BYU is it's backed up into the mountains. My wife loves to hike, so there's a lot of hiking stuff there, outdoors things to do. Obviously, you got your restaurants, your food. Um, in the summertime, there's so much outdoorsy things you can do in the summer. Obviously, it gets cold in the winter. You got snowboarding, all those things. But I think BYU Provo, it's an awesome place. I love BYU Provo. But I don't know how to explain. Yeah, it's just a fun place to be when you're 19 to 23.
That's great. So when are your next games?
Yeah, so we play our first game, home game against Boise State on Feb 14th, and then we go away and play GCU, Grand Canyon University. Then after that, on the 28th of February, we go play Life, at Life, and then come back in March, and then we go play. No, Penn State come here. So
So
Penn
you
State
have a
plays
busy
us at home.
spring ahead of you.
Yep. We got a couple of games lined up. Yep. Um, and then right after the Penn State is we straight into playoffs.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much for sharing your program with me, and good luck to you and the ladies this spring.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You bet.